Despite a rise in consumer prices and a plunge on Wall Street, we saw celebrations at the White House today. 5,000 people were on the South Lawn to help President Biden celebrate passage of the Inflation Reduction Act. NBC4 anchor Colleen Marshall is covering today's move. She joins us live from the White House with more on what the administration is promising to deliver. Colleen.
Well, there are big promises that they are delivering. At least they are making them now. One of them, they're going to cut the deficit, competitive drug prices, including a cap on how much people on Medicare would have to spend a year for drugs, no more than $2,000. Big Pharma, of course, has been fighting that. There are also efforts to bring insulin costs down for everyone. They talked about climate control and stimulus for American manufacturing. All of that rolled into this Inflation Reduction Act. And the 5,000 people who turned out to hear those promises were enthusiastically behind Joe Biden. He made it clear that changes are coming without Republican support. Republicans I talked to today said they don't believe it deserves support. You can look just to Central Ohio to see how this act is dividing Congress.
Let's talk about climate and environment. Let's talk about something that we've been fighting for what seems like a lifetime, reducing prescription drugs for our seniors. We know far too many of them that was cutting pills in half or going without their medicine. So when you think of health care and you think of all the things that's in it, it's a day in history that's very historic.
And it's going to affect people's daily lives today, and it's going to continue, and it has been impacting people's daily lives. It's going to affect, retirees' 401ks that are living off of that. So it's a very somber day, in my opinion, to do a celebration of a bill that is not going to do what its title says.
And Kerry, as you know, we are just 56 days away from the election, so both sides of the aisle are going to be campaigning on this Reduction Act. The Democrats are going to be praising it, saying it will help you, and the Republicans are going to say it should scare you. We're going to hear a lot about this in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and Colleen, you have to imagine that there's going to be a huge focus here in Central Ohio when you hear that, we had Biden here. The president was here in town last week. You see this move today. There's going to be a huge push ahead of the election debating these issues.
Yeah, and you know what? One thing that I should point out to you, Kerry, that I found really interesting, that you would have noticed this too, I think. There were invited reporters who came here and got kind of a behind-the-scenes assessment of this act from the White House and from senior advisors and from cabinet members. And guess which states they were from? States that have close Senate races, like us, Arizona, Philadelphia. People were here from Pennsylvania, so this was a very crafted day for the Biden administration.
I saw a crew from Georgia there today as well. Colleen, I got to tell you, you look good. You look comfortable there in front of the White House, but don't get too comfortable. We need you back here. Have a safe trip home.